Goeiedag. Good day, fellow South Africans. And after the video that I've just posted with this African guy talking about what's going to happen to South Africa, and, you know, he tells a lot of home truths. You've got to admit that. He tells a lot of home truths. Now, what I've done here is I've put in a few relevant facts about one Robert Mugabe, who took over a very economically sound country called Southern Rhodesia, which became Zimbabwe in 1980. He ruled it for 37 years, and in just 37 years he brought it to its knees. And about 8 years before that, you might recall, the currency completely collapsed, with inflation doubling every day. In other words, the currency might have been worth 20 cents US per dollar on today, and tomorrow it would only be worth 10 cents, and so on and so on and so on. That's called hyperinflation. Now, the common factors with South Africa are very simple. Corruption, expropriation of land from white farmers, a complete collapse of industry in the country, and as a result of investors taking their money out of the country, the currency just going into a heap. Now, what do we have in South Africa? Is there anything different? South Africa is parroting what happened in Zimbabwe. So what I want you to do now is have a look at what Zimbabwe is like today. These are two very recent videos, and as you'll see for yourself, the people of Zimbabwe are starving. They are desperate. Their economy is in absolute chaos, and not only that, but they've now got cholera breaking out all over the place. They've got Ebola on their doorstep. If that comes into Zimbabwe, guess what? It's coming into South Africa. No question about that at all. So look, please have a look at these two videos. I would say on the other side of things before I bring them on is that one Robert Mugabe, yep, he has just sold, excuse my dog in the background, he has just sold, bonsai, stop it, he's getting a bit excited. Okay. One Robert Mugabe has just sold what's called a typo villa in Hong Kong for a 15% loss, and in US dollar terms he went for about $4.5 million. Now that's just one property that Robert Mugabe has got. Guess where that money came from? Well, conversely, why do you think Zimbabwe is bankrupt? It's a collapsed state. Because he took everything, he sucked it dry. Guess what the South African politicians are doing right now? They're sucking everything out of the economy that was left there for them by a well-run white government in 1994. South Africa is going down the same path as Zimbabwe. And I've advocated so many times that the white South Africans should get together and form a republic in the south around the Cape and just set up borders. These Africans wouldn't know how to set up a barbecue, let alone set up an army to try and attack a republic. You know, it's time to really put that line in the sand, guys. Put that line in the sand. You really need to do something, because they are just using deception and deceit to just cause chaos in South Africa. All right, look, I've said enough. The first video will be what's happening in Zimbabwe today. You can see the Zimbabweans pleading for help because they're dying of starvation and all sorts of diseases. And the second one is a report about how cholera is breaking out in Zimbabwe because the sewage systems are cracked, and the sewage is now going into the water system, and people are drinking that, and you know what happens. It's not good. That's what happens with a state in decay. The sad thing was that less than 40 years ago, under Ian Smith, it was an amazing country. Doesn't take long for corrupt Africans to kill a country. And South Africa is following that path, very sadly. Okay, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed, and hope you're having a good day. Here are the two videos.
I completed my ordinary levels 20 years ago or so. I don't know who want the government to control the situation of water, electricity. Water and electricity here at Matapi, the levels are not all that good. You can spend at least a month or so without electricity. You can spend even 1.5 months without water. So I want the government to intervene so we can have normal living conditions. Good sanitation. Good sanitation. Thank you very much. The economy is so bad. Things are too expensive for us. Moreover, so I want the president to intervene so we can get something to do.
Varume vasvika pakutitiza vachitisira vana havasi kuenda chikoro. So far ini ndine mwana ane 7 years. House girl ndatsvaga ndaneti. Mafrizi ndikutengesa ndikuwana mari yekudya. Mwana ane 7 years tarisiro yake akaenzana neuyu. Handina imwe tarisiro yekuita achatongoita mbavha nekuti mwana mukomana. Musikana ane 5 years achaita hure nekuti haasi kuenda kuchikoro. School fees handina izvo zvikuda kusenta takapesera kuti kane zuro manero. Hatisati tatodya. Saka tikutokumbira kuti hurumende dai yatibatsirawo kuti tigonewo kutaurawo nevanhu vezvikoro, government itaure navanhu vezvikoro tidzikisirwewo ma-school fees, tichibhadharawo ma-school fees wo vachionawo nemafaces ekuona kuti vanhu ava uyu anowana here kana kuti haawani. Zvino vakangotarisa kuti zvavo zvakavanakira, isusu zvakatiremera. Shuwa zvakaoma kuti tingorarama nevana vasingaendi kuchikoro. Zviri nani kuswera nenzara mwana achienda kuchikoro nekuti iye anozokuchengetawo mangwana. Zvino kana usingagoni kumuendesa kuchikoro unotarisirwa kuchengetwa nemwana usina kuendesa kuchikoro. Anokuchengeta neasina dzidzo. Saka mabasa hakuna, chingwa cha $2. Mafuta $10. Kuti ini ndiwane $10 hakuna, pakiu pamatuto uri kunonzi ndipe $, choti time iri kunzi $. Saka ndovanei? Iwo pamwawo zvigone izvozvo unondarama nekutengesa mafriziti. Mafriziti uri kuwana $2. $2 woyotenga chii? Yabva yapera mari. Mari kuti ujoinidze kuti uite 50 cents kuti usvitse ma-US dollars uzoabatanidza uende mwana kuchikoro. Hapana. Saka takutokumbirawo kuna amai kuti ndo akaberekawo akatakurawo mimba wakanzwa kuti mimba yakaoma. Ngavatibatsire kunyaya dzechikoro. Isusu tiri kuMatapi kuno izvo zvine 2 weeks hatina kana mvura. Hatina kana magetsi. Sipo chayekugezesa chaiziva izvi. Yakuita $3. Wana magetsi akatapuka esa vana vakarohwa nemagetsi. Tingocherwa mugera havasi kuuya vachivhara vekanza. Saka takutokumbira kuti hurumende dai vatibatsira. Tisi mayuthi acho ekuno kumbari. Hatisisu tegawo takaita zvisiri izvo, asi hatiomesерwe nekuda kwamwana. Ivo ngavachitomira sedungamuzi. Vana vaone kuenda kuchikoro tigone kuraramisawo mhuri. Dai zvinhu zvangogona kuti zvadzikiswa maprice control agona kupindira zvagadziriswa tigone kubatsirwa kuti vana vaende kuchikoro. Mitero chaiyo yemudzimba tikutadza kuibhadhara tikuvharirwa dzimba. Saka torarama sei? Takutokumbira kuna president kuti ngavatibatsirewo. Tiri vana vavo vemubari. Tinotodawo kuti dai vagonawo kumira nesu. Saka tikaona vakatizi tinobva tashaya kuti ko vari kutifundirei, vatitife here todii. Nekuti hapasina mumwe munhu ari kudzora umwe munhu.
Initiative launched by the country's finance minister has sparked criticism amid claims of government misspending. Well, authorities have said it's no time for a blame game. Zimbabwe's latest cholera epidemic has raised fears of a repeat of 2008, when the infection killed over 4,000 people.
Unattended landfills, rubbish piling up in the streets and burst sewage pipes in a city of more than 2 million people. This has severely contaminated the water in the Zimbabwean capital, Harare. Cholera is a waterborne disease which has so far caused multiple fatalities.
At the moment, I think we need assistance from every organization. That includes the government, the private organizations.
The World Health Organization has said that first-line antibiotics were already struggling to treat the illness and that the alternative drugs weren't even available. Authorities have banned public gatherings and are closely supervising treatment centres.
Cholera is a huge problem in our area because our sewage pipes need to be replaced. They're bursting all the time. Our water is not clean.
Residents have been forced to rely on open wells and boreholes, some of which tests confirmed were contaminated with bacteria. President Emmerson Mnangagwa has pledged to tackle the current outbreak.
In other news on the continent,